Welcome to another edition of Bet with Bobano. It is Wednesday, April 24th. Ian Cameron, Connor Mack will be along later on in the show. We're ready for a Wednesday slate. MLB, NBA playoffs. We'll be breaking it down here on this edition of the show. Before we get into the full MLB card, there is a game that's about to start right now. I just wanted to mention Orioles and Angels. It's just like right about to start. I do have a piece of the over in that game. The Orioles do hit a little bit better against lefties. Tyler Anderson's been off to a good start for the Angels. I'm not totally convinced he's going to be able to keep this going indefinitely. And like I said, the Orioles do hit better against lefty pitching, much better, in fact. And then on the flip side, it hasn't been a great start to the season for Dean Kramer. He's got a 4.91 ERA. Trout is in the lineup for the Angels. I could definitely see the LA Angels being able to score some runs here in this game as well today. So I did grab a little over 9.5 in that game that's just about to start, Orioles and Angels. C-Mac is with us now. C-Mac, what's going on, my friend?
What's going on? Oh, man. How you doing?
Good stuff. Orioles, Angels, did you bet anything? This game just about to start?
No. What do we get here? Runs, it's just about to go. This went from 9 to 9.5. They're thinking these guys get touched up a little bit. But I didn't have anything. Angels got the win. Yesterday I was on the Orioles the first game. And I had nothing here. I think the price was about right with the Orioles. But, I can't be, even though at 125, I don't want to be taking too many of those on the road. So I was off.
All right, we got, as we continue along here, next up, it is the Boston Red Sox taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Criswell and Carrasco, the starting pitching matchup here. Carrasco and the Guardians, -135, home favorites, 7.5 the total in this game. It's a pass for me. I don't really have much here. Criswell, first start against the Angels, 2 runs, 5 hits, 4 innings. He's not really going to give you length, though. You're going to see a lot of the Red Sox bullpen. And when you look at that Red Sox pen, 3.77 ERA on the season. They've actually been not bad, but the Cleveland bullpen is definitely elite, 2.05 ERA. If it's a battle of the bullpens late, I think that's advantage Cleveland. I don't know what it is about Carrasco because he's someone that obviously has been injury-riddled and has struggled in the years past. I don't fully trust him, but I'll say this, so far so good, and especially the last 3 starts, he's given up 2 runs or less. He's given the Guardians a chance to win each time. So this for me is a pass here overall. I would say take Cleveland in game if the game is close or if they're trailing midway through because they do have a bullpen edge. What do you think here, Connor?
Yeah, but both bullpens have been pretty good. Red Sox a little bit better than I think people thought. I mean, obviously, with bullpens, it's really seems like day to day, week to week, month to month. So after you really look at them after the whole year, but good start for the Red Sox. Carrasco's been good, but I don't really buy it. He's worked out a lot of trouble. I've seen some of these games, just walks, but he's gotten out of it so far. Just can that continue? This game doesn't have the best weather. It's not crazy, right? I just wanted to glance at this. Had a little bit of wind, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the Cubs game, blowing in 12, 13, 40 degrees. This went from an 8 to a 7.5. But I couldn't go. This was tough for me because I think we could get runs off these 2 pitchers. But if they're well, this stays under probably, and it's good because both bats, Cleveland a little bit better, but the Red Sox, the bats haven't been great. Devers in and out. Casas is out of the lineup. This lineup to me isn't very good on both sides. So tough one here in this game. So I was off. I wanted to be on the under. This is the one though, Bobano, like 8.5, 8.5's 8, a lot better than the 7 and a hook here. Right? I just have to stay off.
Yeah, I understand it totally. Yeah, a little bit of a tricky game for me as well. Nothing for me. Spencer Turnbull and Nick Lodolo, Reds and Phillies next up. Reds -140, home favorites -150 in some spots. The total here is 8, pretty much across the board. Nick Lodolo, the lefty here for the Cincinnati Reds. He's actually pitched pretty solid, 3 runs or less in 4 of his last 5 starts. The first start was rough, but really since then he's turned it around, 3 runs or less. Last 2 starts have been gems against the White Sox and the Angels. 1 run in his last 12 innings. So very impressive from Lodolo. We'll see how he fares here against the Phillies. The Phillies, by the way, I should point out against lefties this year, they've actually been okay, 271 average, so they don't match up too badly. Spencer Turnbull has been very good as well. He's someone that I've liked going back to his Tigers days, someone that I think's very capable pitcher, and he's shown you that so far. 3 runs or less in 4 straight starts. How about the Phillies being a perfect 5-0? Spencer Turnbull's 5 starts here this season. Lodolo's been good. Don't get me wrong, but now that you can get plus 135 with the Phillies, I did grab a little Phillies here. First 5 full game split. I definitely like what I see from Turnbull. Lodolo hasn't been bad either, but I definitely think this is a matchup where the Phillies do hit lefties pretty solidly so far this season. So that might give them a bit of an advantage here in this game. And again, perfect win-loss record this season with Turnbull on the mound. So I'm going to go Phillies first 5 full game, a nice plus money underdog price. Probably lean to the under as well. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, and which I have in this game. Alec Boehm, Sosa's really in just to hit lefties, and he's hitting 6th here. Merrifield. So this lineup's for the Phillies is loaded versus them. Turnbull's been good. A guy I back too over the with the Tigers at times, and has been good. Both pitchers. I think Lodolo's got pretty good stuff, but the Reds here at minus 150. That was just like, I mean, maybe that's telling. They think they can win this game, but Phillies after getting nothing done, they scored right away yesterday. Bowman and RBI there, and nothing the rest of the way. I think you can also. We've touched on De La Cruz and Steer on here with some props, but Encarnacion Strand, my guy, the 4-hole.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's going to be, if he keeps going, a 30 home run type dude. If he's healthy and plays that much. The RBIs are there. He's only hitting 216, but his numbers were pretty, good in minor league ball. So I'm on his prop too. I'm on his RBI plus 165. I think that's some good money there.
All right, Brewers and Pirates. We got Wilson, and it looks like a pitching change for Pittsburgh. Josh Fleming, the lefty, is now going to get a start for the Pirates in this one. Yeah, and the Brewers right now about a minus 125, minus 120 to minus 125 road favorite here at PNC. The total at pretty much at 8, shaded to the over across the board. What will we get here from Josh Fleming? This is a guy that was in the Rays organization for quite some time. Now here he is pitching with the Pittsburgh Pirates, lefty. Important to note that going into this start because the Milwaukee Brewers have not been good against lefties so far this year. A paltry 188 batting average as a team against lefty pitching going into this one tonight for them. We'll see how they fare here tonight against Fleming. Meanwhile, you look at Pittsburgh here going up against Bryce Wilson on the mound for the Brewers here in this game. He did pitch in a starting role against the Padres about a week ago. Gave up no runs, 2 hits, 3.2 innings. Pretty solid overall, but I don't know. I'm not a biggest fan of Bryce Wilson. I remember him with Atlanta. Never was really all that impressed with his stuff, to be quite honest with you. You look at the Pirates coming into this game. I talk about how the Brewers struggle to hit lefties. The Pirates have not been as good lately against righties and overall as an offense after that good start to the season. But I do think they have a bit of an advantage here. I don't love the idea that Milwaukee's trying to avoid a sweep. So, it's a situation where I don't always love, betting against a team trying to avoid a sweep. But I kind of disagree with the move. I mean, Fleming comes from an organization where pitching is always a premium. Tampa Bay, he's a lefty. The Brewers can't hit them, so I'm kind of stumped by why all the money's running in here on Milwaukee, and they've been cooled off by the Pirates in this series. So I actually lean to the Buccos a little bit now that they're a home dog. What do you think here, Connor?
Yeah, in the last 8, dating back to last year, they've 6-2. Pirates kind of have had their number. Shout out to my guy Sammy Comer in here, Daryl Ben.
Sammy in here? Oh, good to see
you. Give us the like, hit the like.
Yep.
It's Bobano's channel got shut down, so new.
That's true. We need the subscribers and the likes. Let's go, big time. Exactly. Hit the like button, subscribe
for joining us. We'll be here a couple days a week, breaking everything down. So the Pirates have that. I like the Pirates too. This as me looking at them. Both teams not hitting. You mentioned the lefty with the Brewers, the righties for the Pirates. This just dropped a full run. What happens here? Bobano, like, does this stay under a nothing? Because we got an over ump. Remember, we got wind blowing out to right center. And I'm on a couple Pirate props. So you could think the Brewers can get something done. Wilson, I think, goes, like he's been doing 3 or 4 innings. So it's a couple times through the lineup. So I got to be on Reynolds, his RBI and homer. And same thing with Rowdy Piper, Telez. His RBI is plus 200 and his homers plus 650, a little on that. And he's been awful. He's not been good to start the year, but 5 for 13, a couple homers off Wilson. So I had to take a couple of those props, and I'm right with you. I think it's Pirates or nothing. I've been on a few Brewers, and they're about 50-50 with me. They're the team I struggle with always the most, it seems like, over the years. I've told you that. So, yeah, I think a little plus money. And a Pirate team, though, that's not playing great. So will we get the runs here, or do we get more just shitty bats and an under? So this one's interesting to me.
Big question marks indeed. All right, Dodgers and Nats. Knack and Irvin in the pitching matchup here. We've got the Dodgers minus 180 road favorites, 9.5 being the total here in this game. Very well, they got the job done 4-1 yesterday, but not one of the better offensive performances from the Dodgers. But I'll tell you what, James Paxton was solid. That's a good sign for the LA Dodgers. Got a pretty decent outing from him in that game. This is one of those deals where you've got 2-start young pitchers, Landon Knack for the Dodgers, Jake Irvin for Washington. They faced off against one another at Chavez Ravine exactly 1 week ago. The Nationals won 2-0. In fact, Knack pitched pretty well, and even Irvin didn't pitch that bad. Now you're giving these lineups a second look at 2 very young pitchers in less than a week. I think there's going to be more offensive damage in this game, so my first thought was over. Don't love that it's 9.5. It's a pretty high total. But my first thought was over, that these 2 lineups, C-Mac, they're going to get a look at these same 2 pitchers again a week later. You know how that works. Sometimes when it's under with the same pitching matchup in the first game, it goes over the next game when they face each other within a week or so. That often, and vice versa. If it's high scoring and then the same 2 pitchers face off against each other a week later, it can often go the other way and stay under. So kind of like the reverse to happen. So I lean over in this game. I just bet it small, but nothing crazy. What do you think here, Connor?
Yeah, I think we could get some runs finally. Landon Knack has just come up here too quick with the Dodgers. And he had a good, a bad 2022 in Double-A, ERA over 5. He was 2-10. I watched, with this Dodger team, I'm always watching the minor league system. Was a lot better last year, but I don't think he's ready. He was decent. And Jake Irvin on the other side, just the Dodgers seeing him again isn't great. You know what I mean? But their lineup, they're just not hot. The bottom of the lineup's horrible. It's just awful. Lux is all, and this whole shit, they're giving him 150 at bats. It's like, go do that somewhere else. Like, he's just not ready until he gets going. You can't do that in Major League Baseball and just continue it. Well, no production. Like, send him down and let him get some at-bats down there. But everyone else, Taylor, go through the whole bottom of the order. Muncy hits a jack, but he's a strikeout guy, decent eye. It's just tough here after the top 3 or 4. Will Smith's just been okay. So, I think we could get runs with these 2. I just had to rant on the Dodgers here a little bit. Man.
All right. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Until they get their pitching, Bueller's back, all these guys, which I think will help out down the line. It's just a struggle with Stone and Knack having to pitch here in star form.
Yeah, no question. All right, Tigers and Rays. We've got Flaherty and Armstrong, the pitching matchup here. Flaherty, it's pretty much minus 110, even money. Both sides, 8 the total in this game. The Detroit Tigers, very solid start, 14-10. How about 10-3 on the road? Road Warriors, this Tigers team. Now, they are trying to sweep Tampa Bay. The Rays are trying to avoid a sweep. Usually that's a good spot to back a team at home, trying to avoid a sweep. But Jack Flaherty, he's pitched okay here so far for the Tigers. You look at what he's done. He's given the team a chance to win. They're 3-1 in his 4 starts. So we'll see how he fares here in this one, facing the Rays as well. He did struggle, though, with them when he pitched with Baltimore last year. See how he fares here. Sean Armstrong, he's just going to be an opener. You're only going to see him for an inning or two, and then they're going to turn the ball over to Tyler Alexander, who's going to be the primary pitcher here, the lefty for the Rays. And he's actually facing his former team. Tyler Alexander used to be with the Detroit Tigers. So we'll see how he fares here in this one. Gosh, the Rays just aren't hitting right now at all, and it's tough to back them as a result right now at this point in time. So I haven't bet it yet, but I could only look at Detroit here. What do you think, Connor?
To answer his question, I think they do go. Talking about Paul Skeens, my guy, they're all, yeah, the way he's been so dominant. I think you have to bring him up soon. I know they're trying to like hold these guys for a little bit longer, their contract, but the way he's pitching, he's been just good. I think you got to bring him up. So maybe that they had to wait till the All-Star break. I don't know, or maybe there's if they. It depends. I think how the play continues.
Yes,
with the Pirates. So that's a big key to this one. I had the Rays. I thought yesterday was a great spot for him. Maeda, Pempia, first five or even full game, and they can't hit. Like the first game we were on Monday was great for the Tigers. I liked it too.
We loved it.
Everyone.
Yep.
Yes, that was excellent. Yesterday, I thought Maeda, like Tampa Bay, could get 3-4 runs. Especially in those first.
Great either. That's alarming for Tampa Bay. What's happening at the plate?
That was tough. Having them first five yesterday, my staff, I was like, wow, that was rough. So I don't trust it here. Like I think Tampa could win this game. It's just tough one. Flaherty's been okay, and once Alexander comes in, he doesn't have put away stuff. He never has. He strikes out 3 or 4 guys tops in his starts. So tough one. I'd like to think the Rays at home, like maybe a discount. As much as I want to back and the Tigers a ton this year, I think this could be a good spot for the Rays. It's just the bats have been ice cold.
Yeah, exactly. All right, A's and Yankees at Yankee Stadium. We've got Joe Boyle and Clark Schmidt, your pitching matchup here. Yankees minus 240. Home favorites 8.5 being the total in this game. Yankees got the series win or the win yesterday 4-3. They tied up the series at a game apiece. They lost the opener to J.P. Sears. Blackburn was on the mound yesterday. I stayed off Blackburn for a change. I didn't trust him fully at Yankee Stadium yesterday, even though I've been backing him a lot. I usually like him more against weaker lineups and or at home. I didn't fully trust him at Yankee Stadium, and ended up being a 4-3 Yankees win. I don't know if I trust Joe Boyle here for Oakland, because you look and it's been a mixed bag, but the 2 good starts, Connor, were against Washington and Detroit. The bad starts were against Boston and Cleveland. Better offenses, better teams, and now you got to face the Yankees. It could be a rough night maybe for Joe Boyle here. I like Clark Schmidt. There's no doubt. He's pitched well. 3 starts here in April, and he's given up just 5 runs in his last 15 innings. So he's pitched well. The Yankees are a perfect 4-0 this season with Clark Schmidt on the mound. For me, this is Yankees team total, over 4.5, minus 130. Maybe a run line look on the Yankees, but I definitely think they've got a big mound advantage here tonight. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, the price is big. Boyle, a couple of good starts, a couple of bad ones. What do we get from him? I want to be on the under. Yesterday, bunch of runs early, nothing else in that game. And the Yankees had great numbers against Blackburn. That was a good stay off that you just mentioned. They had hit him well and jumped on him right away. And a shitty play by Soto got the A's a run there in the first. So I don't know what we get from Boyle. I know Schmidt will be good. I still full game. And both teams are hit. Yankees have the power and some of the numbers, but it hasn't been too great, especially after the hot start. The bats haven't been great. And the A's bottom of the barrel hitting here. This is under. And one thing I like, it's just, it gets dicey here. Bobano, team total under 2.5 for Oakland, which I like. It's plus 125. I just haven't been crazy giving those out and playing them myself, but that was a look here for me. I think Schmidt's been that good. I think he can go, 6 innings here and give up nothing really, or a run or 2.
There you go.
Yankees pretty good, Penn.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see it. So leaning under here with the A's and the Yankees. And I'm just very happy to see. I just saw Francisco Lindor 2-run home run for the New York Mets. And they're up 2-0 on the San Francisco Giants. I have a piece of the Mets' first 5 in full game there. Revenge game for Sean Manaea there against his old team. So I figured he'd be fired up to pitch well.
That was an over game. Can he keep? Maybe that total was too low. I don't know. Did you have the over in that?
I did not. I just had the Mets' first 5.
Okay. Because I don't know what we get from Manaea. That's what. Because we know him. I always worry about him. The walks and the 3-run bomb. Or
Part of it for me today was he'll be fired up against his old team. He'll pitch maybe a little bit better, and so far.
Yeah.
Plus, I didn't trust the Giants pitching. They're going with a bullpen day here today, so good start there for the Mets in that game. All right, next up we've got it is the as we continue along, Miami Marlins and Atlanta Braves. Sixto Sanchez on the mound here for the Miami Marlins, and Ronaldo Lopez here for the Braves. Braves, of course, as you would expect against a lowly Marlins team, minus 250, home favorites in this game. Total sitting at pretty much 9 across the board here in this game. It should be interesting here with this one. Obviously, Sixto Sanchez from Miami, pretty well thought of prospect for them, but he's missed the last 2 seasons. He had a tear in his right shoulder. He's been making appearances out of the bullpen for the Marlins this season, but none of his appearances were more than 2 innings. However, he does have 3 consecutive games without giving up a run, so that's a good sign for him. You can see him getting a little bit more comfortable. He had 7 starts back in 2020, a decent 3.46 ERA. Hasn't pitched in a starting role since the playoffs that year where Miami made it in against Atlanta. So it's been a while since we've seen Sixto in a starting pitching spot like this for the Miami Marlins. We'll see how he fares here in his first start in almost 4 years. It was 2020. It was that pandemic season when when he last started during the playoffs for the Miami Marlins. Meanwhile, Ronaldo Lopez, I'm actually stunned how good he's been. He's been a journeyman pitcher. He's been around the block. But sure enough, here he is in Atlanta. 3 starts. He's given up 1 run in 18 innings. Man, some very impressive numbers. And only 11 hits in those 18 innings. So he's not given up much contact. He's striking out a lot of batters. And again, just 1 earned run allowed in 3 starts. White Sox, Mets, and the Astros. I know the Astros haven't been the same offense this year. They've really scuffled, but not the same Astros potency so far. But still, Ronaldo Lopez has been really good. Does this maybe stay under? It's hard sometimes with Atlanta games, but I think Sixto, is fired up. First start in a very long time, talking almost 4 years. I think he's got good stuff when he's on, but again, he's had injuries, he's had setbacks, and you always worry, but I think he does have good stuff. And obviously Ronaldo Lopez, he's going to regress at some point. Will it be tonight? Perhaps, but I don't know. 9, considering Sixto is on the mound for Miami, and Ronaldo's form seemed a bit high with the total. Maybe I lean that way. What do you think here, Connor?
I think it's the Braves that's starting to come out here too, to right around minus 260. I think you go them run line, team total, if you don't mind it. The Marlins can't score any runs. The at-bats have been pathetic. Even the last few days, I've watched some of these few innings of these games when I click through watching these at night. It's just been awful. Arise is the only thing I kind of like here. He's 6 for 17 off Lopez. But I don't know how much Lopez can pitch well. But a team like the Marlins, just getting nothing going on.
Shut out back to back.
Yeah, shut out back to back. I love Sixto. I love that name, Sixto Sanchez. I just think he goes a couple here today. And the Braves, nothing against it. I mean, Travis d'Arnaud, that's it. He's raking, and they're winning ball games. So it's like, when you break out Ronald Acuna, Austin Riley, these guys really get going. Olsen, because they've been awful, but they haven't been great either. And they're not driving a ton in, not a lot of extra base hits for them early, especially the last 10 days. So I think the Braves, I just can't move on the Marlins. This is baseball. Anything can happen, especially with these 2 pitchers. But I think it's Braves or nothing.
All right, next up, we've got, as we continue along, the Houston Astros and Chicago Cubs first, a little interleague action. Spencer Spaghetti Arrighetti against Jameson Tyone here for spaghetti. Reminds me of grumpier old men, spaghetti rigetti. That's where I got that from. Spaghetti Arrighetti here in this case for the Astros.
Yeah.
Jameson Tyone for the Cubs. Cubs minus even money, slight home favorite, 7.5 the total. Why the hell are the Cubs this cheap? Because to me, this looks like a slam dunk bet the Cubs spot. Cubs are the better of these two teams right now. They're in better form. They're 14-9. They're 8-3 at Wrigley Field. Arrighetti's numbers are brutal. Like, why is this minus 110, minus 115? Because I bet it. I don't believe in traps. I don't. I think the Cubs is what you bet here, and Cubs team total over as well. Arrighetti has not been good in the brief moments that we've seen him here at the big league level. And again, so far, 4.37 ERA in the minor league level. That's not really what you want to see. And again, here in his major league appearances for the Astros, 9 runs in 7 innings of work, which is not very good at all. 9 runs in 7 innings for him. Tyone's been serviceable here for the Cubs, going back to he finished last year strong. And then this year, first start, 1 run in 5 innings against the Marlins. So Cubs money line, probably Cubs first 5 full game split, and I'll add a little team total, Cubs over as well. That team total in this game sitting at 3. Is that true? It looks like it's just 3.5.
3.5. The wind's blowing crazy in this game.
It is.
But I don't know how. Like, Wrigley's more one of the more open stadiums where it's not as in other parks. They kind of just push that out. But there's been wind blowing in already this year, and it's just been too low. It goes over. And now we have these 2 pitchers here, Bobano, who just Taillon has been okay, and everyone ripped on him. He was awful last year, and he had a few good starts. I was on a couple of them, luckily, a few times. I remember one in San Diego as a big dog. But I think he gets hit a little bit. There's good numbers here for the Astros, who just have been struggling. The hitting numbers are okay, but the pitching's awful. And you got a guy, Arrighetti Spaghetti, limp noodle arm here. I mean, this guy's supposed to be a lot better than he is. I mean, the first start was awful. The last start was okay against the Braves, who went 4 innings, kind of worked out of some trouble, just gave up a couple, but it wasn't easy. I think you take the over here. I don't, even the 10 to 14 mile an hour wind with these lineups and these pitchers, I think you go over in this, and the Cubs. Like, I think that it's a little bit cheap for the Cubs here too. I'd go here to Bush. Couple days. He hasn't been great after the hot start. I don't think we see Bellinger. He's going to be out with his ribs from everything I've heard after yesterday running into the wall. So I'd look to him. Swanson, Tauchman's been pretty good. And on the flip side, good numbers off Taillon. Some of these guys, Altuve, look to Kyle Tucker, because you're getting really good prices right now, props in this game. So look for that here.
All right, Blue Jays and Royals next up. Toronto minus 130 road favorites at Kauffman Stadium. Total 8.5. Yariel Rodriguez, this Cuban pitcher they signed in the offseason, getting the start here for the Jays. He's been very good so far. I mean, he's been solid. He's given them a chance. He's got good stuff. He changes speeds. Things you like to see, and he's given the Jays a chance to win every game. Now, he is going to be on a pitch count. He's been on a pitch count every game so far, so you will see a lot of the Jays bullpen later in the game, and I think Bowden Francis, who unfortunately has a 9 ERA on the season, is a guy that you're going to see quite a bit of after Yariel Rodriguez. So for me, I like the Jays, and I don't trust Alec Marsh for Kansas City. I don't trust him. You got the Jays off a loss as well. They lost 3-2 to the Royals last night, so bounce back spot. I like Toronto, but I like them especially early. And not just first 5, because I could see Rodriguez pitching just 3 innings, 4 maybe. He might not go the full 5. And I don't know if I want Bowden Francis and his numbers on my betting ticket, if you will. So first 5 Jays I have, but even more than that, go even one step further, first 3. And there are books that offer first 3 innings lines right now. That would be my favorite look here with the Jays, because I think you can get 3 innings out of Rodriguez, even though he's on a pitch count. And again, he's been very good. He should have the advantage over Alec Marsh early in the game. So Blue Jays first 5, and even more so, I like that first 3 innings line on the Blue Jays here. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, Marsh, the 2 starts were good against the Orioles. And he's more like the guy in the other 2, which weren't awful. But the other one, the White Sox, we all know how shitty they are.
They
One
can't
of the
hit.
worst hitting teams in the league. And the Mets are hot and cold, and they got 4 off him. I just keep going back. He's going to be the guy that just gives up too many barrel shot. You know what I mean? I mean, he was 1-15 in AA a couple years ago. He's just so it's tough. But I have to say, Bowden Francis, I think he has some good stuff. You can hit on this Bobano, but I didn't think he was ready, and he got shelled right away, which I love. So he's coming in after Rodriguez, who's been okay. I think there's runs. And these guys could pitch well again. There's been a lot of unders lately, but I lean over in this game. And it's tough to back Marsh, but I think at home, I look the other way. I'd be on the Royals here just because they're right around plus 125 full game. But should be a good one. Can we get some runs here?
I think the Royals do have an advantage late because, the Blue Jays are going to have to go a lot more into their middle relief. A lot of Bowden Francis, a lot of guys that can be hot and cold. I like the Jays,
up and down.
First 5, but I don't want them full game because I do think the Royals, may get back into this game against the middle relief of the Jays bullpen, which is still a little bit up and down for my liking. All right, next up, we've got the White Sox and the Twins. Garrett Crochet and Joe Ryan, the pitching matchup. Twins minus 200, home favorite, 6.5 the total. I'll tell you this. I thought coming into this series there'd be some opportunity maybe to back Chicago finally because the numbers are just – and how can Minnesota be laying minus 200 or more in this series to start, knowing that coming into this series they were 7-13, 6 games below 500. But that's how bad Chicago is. And sure enough, Minnesota has still won the first 2 games of this series against the White Sox. It's almost impossible for me to stomach back in the White Sox, even though I think Crochet has been one of their better arms early in the season. He has a 1.74 ERA in his career against the Twins, which is very good. Now, the last couple starts have not been as good for Crochet. He started off a house of fire, but last 2 against the Reds and the Phillies, 12 runs, 7.2 innings. Not what you want to see. He has dominated the Twins, though. And Joe Ryan's been okay, but not great for the Twins. So it's another one of these spots where you're tempted to take the shot with the big dog here with the White Sox, at least in the first 5 innings, avoid that bad bullpen. But, man, it's difficult. Somehow, some way, just find a way to lose, find a way to not get it done. So it's a pass for me. Small lean to the White Sox, maybe first 5, but I just can't do it. It's just such a bad team, 3-20. This is looking like they're on pace to be one of the worst single seasons in recent MLB memory, the way this is shaping right now for Chicago.
And for the White Sox, probably one of their worst years in a long time. I mean, to be this bad, which I could see, and I think the price heat's getting crazier with them. So that's what you have to take the question here with Joe Ryan on the mound. This Twins team that doesn't really hit with him on the bump, are they really? Should be minus 200? I guess. Yeah, right. They should be. Jimenez I had yesterday, they've been pricing him because he hasn't done shit, and they haven't scored any runs, but he finally went 3 for 4 with a home run, which was big. Benintendi has some okay numbers versus Ryan. The trust is not there for a dog. We'll get to one later. And a few of these other teams that are priced, they can't be backed right now. I can't do it. It's just fucked. I just can't. I can't do it. So yeah, I'm off. Nothing here.
What a turnaround we're seeing from the Seattle Mariners, who started out really badly this season, but man, they're now above 500. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games.
Pitching
6-1 in their last 7. And the pitching's gotten it done, and now the bats are starting to wake up for them a little bit. Bryce Miller on the mound for them tonight against the Texas Rangers, who will counter with John Gray. We've got Texas minus 120 home favorites, 9 the total here in this game. Big fan of Bryce Miller, no question about that. I think he's got good stuff. I think the Seattle Mariners, from a starting pitching perspective, they can hang with anybody, when they're all on their game. I mean, Kirby hasn't been great. He hasn't been consistent, but Gilbert's been on a roll. Another terrific start from him last night, and I was on Seattle. First 5 full game last night. Bryce Miller is someone I want to back too. He's pitched very well. 2 runs in his last 3 starts. That's 19 innings, by the way, where he's given up just 1 earned run. And by the way, 2 runs, only 1 of them was earned. So Bryce Miller is feeling it right now for Seattle. Now, my one hesitation here with Bryce Miller is against Texas last year, they roughed him up. I mean, 13 runs in 6 innings. So that's my little fear here. But, right now he's pitching great. And John Gray's been solid. So not as bullish on Seattle tonight, but I did grab a small piece of them still. First 5 full game split. I liked it more last night, but I like Bryce Miller. And I know he had a bad, rough time of it against Texas last year, but it's a new season. He's pitching great. He's pitching lights out. And Seattle's hitting, and quite frankly, Texas isn't, at the moment. So I still think I like Seattle enough to bet him tonight. What do you think, C-Mac?
Last night the number was a little bit, and that's why I get why you like Seattle here today, because I think there's some value with this number. Even with Gray on the mat, like I want this under. But you look at the 2 starts with Miller last year just getting lit. And you mentioned it's a new season, but it's tough to go back when you do all your stuff every day and look through everything to be like, he went to Texas and gave up 7, and then right before, and so I think he gave up 6 in September. And a lot of these guys hit him hard.
Pitch right now, he doesn't look like a guy that's going to give up 7 runs tonight to Texas.
No, he looks great. And if Miller, Gilbert, I think the top, and Kirby's down there, and the 3, like these guys pitch well, they could be really good because the bats do go cold too much, though, I think, for the Mariners. Julio finally got going. He hit a homer. Huge bum last night. So it's tough for me. I think there's a little value here with the Mariners now at the plus price. And I still kind of want this under, but I just, in the end, crossed it off as much as I want to play it. Because I think Gray, one of his better spots has been at home, even last year for him. And we know the Mariners can just go so cold. He could pitch well. I could see him going 6 and giving up 1. No problem.
Yeah.
So lean under here strong, but just a lean.
All right. Next up, we've got the San Diego Padres and the Colorado Rockies. Actually, the last game on the card. There's no real late night baseball tonight. This is the latest game, 5:40 Pacific, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. So no real late night West Coast action tonight. We've got Waldron and, oh my gosh, the old lefty, Ty Block back in our lives again for the Colorado Rockies tonight. We've got San Diego minus 160, road favorites. The total 11 here at Coors Field. Waldron, the knuckleballer, who is, again, mixed bag. He had a couple of pretty good starts against the Giants, even against the Dodgers. He pitched pretty well, but then he got roughed up by the Cardinals on April the 1st in his first start, 4 runs, 9 hits, and he got walloped by the Blue Jays in his last start, 5 runs, 7 hits, 4.2 innings. If that knuckleball's not dancing, this guy can get hit hard, Matt Waldron. So we'll see how he fares here for the Padres. And the knuckleball historically at Coors Field, Connor, you know this very well. It's not always easy for knuckleball pitchers in that ballpark. The ball flattens out, and it just stays over the middle of the plate, and it can get crushed. It can get hammered. So I do worry about him in this setting here of Coors Field tonight, taking on the Colorado Rockies. Meanwhile, you've got our old buddy here, Ty Block, on the mound here for the Colorado Rockies. It feels like this guy's been around forever as far as from a pitching standpoint. We'll see how he fares here in this one for the Colorado Rockies. If you look at the numbers, he's only pitched 1 inning, and believe it or not, he didn't give up a run in that inning for the Rockies. So we'll see how he fares here. But you go back to last year with Colorado, 5.54 ERA, 2022 with Colorado, 5.89 ERA, 11 ERA with Baltimore in 2019. The numbers are awful historically for Ty Block. You would think San Diego can do some damage. I could only look over the total in this game. I think it probably is a high-scoring slugfest type of game. Knuckleballers historically do not fare well. Coors Field is not good to them. And I think the Padres can do some damage here against Block and the Rockies bullpen. So over for me. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, man, game 1, I thought it was a great under, and the bats were ice cold for the Rockies, and it did. It was 3-1 Padres. Yesterday was the move. I think they thought that it was 9.5, and it dropped the full run. I was on the over because I didn't believe those.
Auto bet over 9.5 at Coors Field. You almost have.
Well, that's exactly, and I thought the bats would finally get going. The Rockies had looked so pathetic versus the Mariners the series before, and that first game, I'm like, they're gonna get going here. Like, they're at home, and today Bobano, it's 75, almost 80 degrees in Denver. Slight wind blowing out to left center.
Wave
Give
for
me
late
these two
April.
pitchers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be 13 and a half later on in the year when it's summer, this with these pitchers. Take the over. I want to look to, when it gets that crazy with two good pitchers, I look to take the under. You know that, like on a first five, which is a little wild with Coors. But I think this is a cheap price at 11. And one thing with the Padres, I just think that they're not very good. Like kind of like a lean or a small bet would be the Rockies, and only first five. Yeah. Yesterday they won it. I was on it. You just keep it to that. Maybe keep it to a smaller quarter unit, half unit, and take a shot with them. This is where they play their better ball, and they've been so fucking awful to start the year that they play better at home. And I think you're gonna, have still some value here at plus 135 around that first five with it.
All right, there you have it. That's the baseball card for this Wednesday. Let's turn our attention to a little NBA playoffs. We have 2 games tonight in the association postseason action. And we will begin with the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. Game 2 of their Eastern Conference first-round series. Boston walloping Miami in Game 1. Boston's going to win this series. It's just a question of how many games is it going to take them to dispatch the Heat. 5 games? Maybe 6, and even that might be asking a lot of Miami. They certainly could sweep Miami. It's just difficult without Jimmy Butler to ask this team to compete with a team like Boston. 14.5-point home favorites, 205.5 the total. I get it. Boston's the better team, the much better team, especially a Miami team with no Butler. I get all of that. But there's that little nagging voice inside my head saying, this is Eric Spoelstra. This is Eric Spoelstra off a loss. This is Eric Spoelstra off a loss as a road underdog, historically a good point spread role for him getting this number of points. Don't we have to take a small shot on Miami here? I mean, we're not even asking Miami to even compete or even be in this game right at the end. All I'm asking from Miami is just a little bit of competitiveness. Maybe Boston, it was so easy for them in Game 1 that maybe they just kind of go through the motions a little bit tonight in Game 2 of this series. So I'm tempted to at least do a first half full game type of split on the Heat, +9 first half, plus 14.5 full game. I'm not asking Miami to win the game. I doubt they will. They're just so undermanned right now against this Celtics team. But the idea conceptually of Eric Spoelstra off a loss as a road dog getting this number of points and the adjustments he's capable of making, I'm tempted by Miami here. And just to go through the motions, get the win and move on type of spot here for Boston. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, I think it's a ton of points too. But I go back, the Celtics team at home, dominant.
Yeah.
Whatever they were, 38-3, and the best first half team in all of basketball.
Yeah.
By a long stretch. I mean, the numbers and the money. If you took the Celtics, the cover at ATS was just crazy this year. But you mentioned
not having Terry
Spoelstra.
Rozier for more offense hurts, especially
It's
against
tough.
a team like Boston. Yep.
Let me hit this real quick. With him out and no Butler, this prop now at 14.5 is a little bit dicey, but it's like he's gonna get the shots, and he's got it towards the end of the year. And again, Jaime Jaquez, it's just 16, but the number it was 11.5 or 12.5. Now we're up to 14.5 because he's consistently cashed it, which I like the last few games. But I think he's going to play the minutes. He's going to get the shots. It's just now does he get some late ones? He kind of did. He was 8 for 18, 0 for 2 from 3. I still think he gets over just how much he's got to play for them. So if you're looking at a prop, I think Hawkins, until it gets to maybe the 16.5, kind of 15.5, maybe stay away. But I'm off. I want the Heat too here. I almost thought of taking a little bit first half with them, but I'm going to stay away. I just think shit could get run away from them early. The guard play hasn't been great. Bam's got to do a ton. Hero's got to do a bunch now. Kind of as like semi-point guard. So just tough. Celtics win. It's just a massive number. So I'm off.
All right, the second game, and there's only 2 games tonight in the NBA playoffs. The second game, New Orleans and Oklahoma City. We've got the Thunder 7.5-point home favorites, 211.5 the total here in this game. New Orleans, they gave Oklahoma City one heck of a battle in Game 1. Very impressive considering the turnaround They had to play Friday night, win the play-in tournament game against Sacramento to get in the playoffs, and then they have to turn around, play OKC. And it was a great battle from the Pelicans, but the Thunder survive. Here's the thing that concerns me about New Orleans. It was a pretty good game from their standpoint, but it's about as bad as Oklahoma City's played in a very long time, especially on their home floor, and they still didn't win. And OKC still won despite how bad they played. That would concern me a little bit here for the Pelicans tonight. And you're talking about an OKC team that probably knows they have to play better. SGA said it in the postgame interview. This is one of the best point spread teams, one of the best home point spread teams in the NBA this season, 27-15 against the spread at home for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm considering laying it with Oklahoma City here tonight. I think the Pelicans missed a golden opportunity. No Zion Williamson again tonight. And CJ McCollum was awful in game one. They're going to need a lot more out of him. Brandon Ingram is going to have to even be better than he's been. You're going to need some offense from Trey Murphy. JV in the paint is going to have to dominate, which he's capable of doing because he definitely has a size and a girth advantage over. And I love Chet Holmgren. He's a hell of a player, but from a physical stature standpoint, he's whipping off some pounds compared to JV in the low post. So, but I just think the New Orleans Pelicans might have blown their opportunity in game one. And I don't think you can expect Oklahoma City to be that bad again on their home floor here in game two. So if I'm playing in this game, I'm laying the number. What do you think here, Connor?
I like the other way here, the points with the Pelicans. But that's me, is small here. I like the under. I have to go. I've been more on the first half unders.
Yeah.
A little bit different in this game. The Heat game is not too much. It's 203 or whatever, 204, but the first half is 103, which I get. This is more what we see all around, maybe because they've gotten pounded. Full game's 212, but the first half is 103. That's been a difference in these other games where it's just I've taken advantage of, where the first half you're getting way too many points than the full game, which is just strange. I think, teams come out hot. I just think the fouls, everything that could go into a playoff game, overtime. But with this, now that we have first half's 103, give me the full game, 212, even though I don't mind the 103 first half. McCollum, you mentioned, wasn't great, was okay. He's been horrible the game before that, or the couple games before that. I don't think he was great. Ingram wasn't good. He was 5 of 17. He's coming off that injury. It's huge with no Zion. They have to play good defense. That's why I like the under. Valanciunas, Murphy, Jones, Herb Jones. And a lot of these games between them have gone under this year, where in years past, these teams would just get up and down in a lot of overs. And Giddey wasn't very good. The whole kind of Oklahoma City team, but this is new for them. Being in the playoffs, like go to or at home. Yeah, just winning. And let's see, can they win and cover?
Yeah,
is another one. It's big because, Dort didn't have a great game, too, with Giddey. I thought the last one. They don't have a crazy great bench. It's okay. Both these teams.
Yeah.
So I lean the points, but I'm on the under in this one.
No.
Because I don't think the Pelicans, they could push pace. Like the Thunder can at times.
Yes.
They can get up and down. They have one of the best offense in the league, like the Celtics. And a pretty good defense, but the Pelicans can't do that. I think they have to slow this down and kind of grind it out. So under here and lean the points.
All right, there we go. Good stuff indeed. You know what? Because this is our last show of the week, and obviously we won't be with you tomorrow. Quick look ahead to tomorrow: Cleveland, Orlando, New York, Philadelphia, Denver, LA Lakers. I think I'm going to stick to the script with the Lakers. I don't know about the full game because, man, they have had a hard time closing out, but they've been good to start games, and you would expect.
We talked about it.
Home. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Remember? Yeah, we talked about it the other day. Yeah. Go ahead.
First half, first quarter, LA Lakers. I think that's not a bad option in game 3 against Denver because you would expect them to be strong out the gate early. Hell, they've been strong out the gate game 1 and game 2 in Denver. They just had a fucking impossible time holding on to the lead. They spit the bit, blew leads in both games, including that brutal 20-point blown lead in game 2. Jamal Murray with the game-winning shot. But I expect early the Lakers to be worth a look there. First quarter, first half against Denver in game 3 at Crypto Arena tomorrow. New York and Philadelphia now. Philly, desperation times. down 2-0, laying 4.5. I'll be honest, maybe you look Philly early, but full game, getting 4.5 with the Knicks, I might actually bet New York full game. I mean, I don't know if there's many answers for Philadelphia right now. When I look at the way that was a game they should have won in game 2. And the Knicks, again, have just made all the key plays, good defensively down the stretch. Plus, not to mention, I think they haven't even gotten the best of Jalen Brunson yet out of him. Well, what if he turns it up another notch here for the Knicks? So that's one where even though it's a team down 2-0 in the series, playing game 3 at home, that's a popular bet to take that team. I don't know if I'd want to lay 4.5 there with Philadelphia in that spot. I am going to take Orlando. I know they've been roughed up by Cleveland in the first 2 games, but they're back home. First home game, first playoff home game in Orlando for this Magic franchise in a very long time. I don't think they're winning the series at this point. I do think Cleveland's kind of established, that they're better with Mitchell and Garland and Mobley and Allen, and there's just especially that front court matchup. The strength of Orlando is the front court, and unfortunately, it's a tough matchup because Mobley and Allen can offset it, for Cleveland. So they're probably not going to win the series. As someone that took a shot with Orlando to win the series, I'm not feeling good about it, but I think in game 3 for one game they can rise up and get it to 2-1. It might be the only game they win in the series, but I do think Orlando can win on their home floor. I think just the intangible situational angle too. First home game in the franchise for a very long time in the playoffs. I think that gets everyone fired up. What do you think of the 3 games in the NBA for Thursday there, C-Mac?
I think the Magic can get this. I think they get 3 or 4. So if they lose, I think you go right back to them. I think they can win because I think they lose the series in 5 games. They just get one. It's just they're a couple of years away. They need to get a couple good shooters, but they're a young team. I love them, and the under's been amazing. Now we have the line, which I thought here. We have 199. And so it's tough. And even the first half is 101.
Is this 1994 sub 200 total?
Yeah. Well, I had 101 or 102 kind of. That's why I thought the 109 was crazy in the first half being on those. But this is about the line, and you're seeing it. There was a couple close ones. Now this is dicey here. I just wanted to point that out with bringing this number down, which was smart. It was too high with the playoffs. I like the Lakers early. I like the under full game in that a little bit. It's at 216, and I agree with you. Lakers early. I don't know about the Sixers. Like, this seems like big home win. Nobody's doing enough. Maxey was all sick. He plays good. So does Embiid. They both have like 35 points. Nobody else does nothing. Yeah. It's just a whole lot of standard. They blow that game. They should have won it.
SOS on Tobias Harris. Is that guy even playing?
Oh. Yeah, sending out Jesus Christ. Where the hell was he? Fuck, man. So I don't know. The 4. I want to wait on that. Maybe it's too much. I think Philly at home wins, but I don't really want to lay 5 points with them right now. Just the way they're playing as a team. So that was my looks.
A premium for the must-win spot, I think. In
the must-win game 3.
Home up, down.
You're right.
In the series, yeah,
for sure. You're right.
I ain't laying it with Philadelphia. That much I know. And last but not least, at least from Connor's perspective, again, if you want my thoughts on the hockey tonight, tune into the Ice Guys show earlier today with Alex B. Smith and me. But Connor, got to get some thoughts from you. We have 3 NHL Stanley Cup playoff games tonight. Boston, Toronto, game 3. Vegas, Dallas, game 2. LA, Edmonton, game 2. Anything you're liking there?
Oh, I'm a little bit, because back here at home, I think the Leafs play a little bit freer, but we have the 6. This is where the 5.5, I think, would have been huge.
Yeah,
I would have want to go over because I think they could get 4. And the Bruins have had their number, so I think they would get 3 or 4. So I still lean over in that. This is tough. This is the must-win game for Dallas. The price, though, it's just like you kind of just blind and think they could take care of it and go puck line with them.
Yeah.
But I thought that was Vegas just has them, comes out, stomped on them early, a couple of quick goals in that first period. So I don't want that game in game 2. Do you have anything in it real quick? Just
I have
in
Dallas first period team totals over one.
yeah,
over
okay.
2.5.
God.
They come out strong, and I have Dallas team total over 2.5 parlayed with over 5.5 for the game. So I went about it a different way. I don't want Dallas money line at all. I want nothing to do with that at that price against this Vegas team. Yeah.
And Vegas there's some they just have them. I could see how people though, this is tricky. Like the other people are looking this. I'm getting Vegas plus 150.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And they're just gonna go for it. So this one, that's why I'm pumping it. This is a live bet game just to watch see maybe how things go. Maybe Vegas jumps out early again, that would be crazy, and you could get Dallas. And the last one here, over. I'm on it, but man, the Kings I thought you said it when we were on, or you said it before, that
4-3. They play a lot of 4-3 games when they play
first the Oilers. Yeah, they get away from it. Oilers get theirs, and they can get some of theirs too, because the Oilers still aren't great defensively, I don't think, and they've always had just not the best goalie over the years, and I still don't think they have the best. So 6, not a 6.5. Give me the over there. Kings Oilers. I got it. I got to take it.
Yeah, I was on the full game over game 1, Kings Oilers. I'm on it again. What I really like in this game is it's like you remember you do have Drew Doughty, you have Anze Kopitar, you have guys Stanley Cups on this team. Philip Deneau for LA went to a Stanley Cup final for Montreal a few years ago against Tampa Bay in the pandemic year. These guys have pride. These are Cup champions. There's a lot of winning residue and pedigree in that dressing room. I don't think they're going to roll over. The bet I like in this game, and we know Edmonton can be flighty. They have a big win.
Yes.
Sometimes they come out the next game and they're a little sleepy. But I like, and it's minus 135 at BetMGM, Kings to score a goal in the first period.
One in the first.
Minus 135. And you don't have to worry about anything other. You don't have to worry about what Edmonton does. You don't have to worry about it because all you're betting is the team total for the Kings in the first period. Kings to score a goal in the first period, minus 135. That's what I like most.
This isn't the best spot, the Kings versus the Oilers. But if I was betting the Oilers, this big a price, watch out. I'm just saying, weird things have happened, and they just haven't been able to get it done, consistently year in and year out. And they're minus 190 favorites. But yeah, give me the goals. I think you just look that way.
And the biggest concern is they look real slow and unable to defend McDavid and Zach Hyman, who had a hat trick. That duo just ate them up. Just did a tap dance all over the that game.
Yeah,
those two guys, they couldn't stop him. And then Cam Talbot, has been a hit or miss goaltender all season. He's been incredibly awesome at times and incredibly bad, at other times. So it's tough. I know LA to me has an uphill battle, and again, no history of them winning either against the Edmonton Oilers the last 2 years in the playoffs. But I do like them to maybe have a good start. The pride of the champions takes over, like Kopitar and Doughty, and I think they get on the board in the first period in this game. All right, great stuff. Great show today. Covered it all: MLB, NBA playoffs, NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. And now it's time to wrap it up with best bets. C-Mac, what do you like for your best bet?
Well, I mentioned that. I think you go with the over Kings Oilers, but I'm on the under. I bet it under 212. Pelicans Thunder. I think we stay under again. Under.
There you go. So there you go. Pelicans Thunder under 212 for Connor Mack, NBA playoff best bet. My best bet, where is it going to come from tonight? No, it's definitely going to come from baseball because I don't feel strong about either NBA game tonight. So for best bet in MLB, let's see here. Even the MLB card. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I like, nothing I love. I don't know. Maybe I'm walking into a trap, but give me the Cubs. Minus 105 to minus 110 against the Astros. Spaghetti Arrighetti hasn't been good. The Cubs have been good. They've been good at home. Cubs minus 105 for me. Best bet here for this Wednesday show. Great stuff. As always with Connor Mack, we're here Mondays and Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it here very much. And a reminder, again, we're here 2 days a week, Mondays and Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Connor Mack, great stuff. I'm Ian Cameron for Connor Mack. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. Bet like Tony Soprano. Bet with Bobano. We'll see you again on Monday for another edition of Bet with Bobano.